Okay, my name is Dale Brown. I'm from the Detroit Threat Management Center. I am the owner, director of operations of a bodyguard training school and self-defense training school for people. So what we do is we teach people how to keep themselves safe, their family safe, their community safe. And in Detroit, we've been able to create an environment which is conducive for business because we make it safe for people. And so what I'm here to do is share with you our story and our vision and our plan, one that's been unfolding for the past 25 years. So I started in Detroit many years ago. We're gonna bring up a video. We only have 600 to choose from. We're gonna choose just the one. So I'm not Puerto Rican, but I did bring one with me. In the Army, I was called Puerto Rican. I unfortunately was not. It was not good, but I've been to Puerto Rico, and I went to San Juan, and I hung out with a person that's in an executive that worked for a president in healthcare. And so I had a chance to experience the island on multiple occasions, and it was extremely beautiful. Everyone was very nice. Unbelievable place, because when you have with executives, that's where they go. So I didn't see anything else. The mall is huge, everything's expensive, it costs me nothing. However, what I do, on top of conveniencing the rich, which makes them richer by my convenience for them, what I do is focus on helping people. And when I help people, I make rich people richer. So I create a win, a triple win, called the triple win. I win, the rich people win, and my purpose wins. My purpose is to make the world a safer place through nonviolence and to help people that need help. I can't do that myself, I'm not independently wealthy, so I had to create my own method to generate a sustainable form of support so that I can go out and be effective at long-term assistance. So in Detroit, I started in 1994 with a dog and a rifle. I was teaching in self-defense in the parks. I had no money, and I was teaching self-defense because that's what I love to do. And I thought, you know, what greater place would need the ability to protect themselves and their families than Detroit. I'm from Ann Arbor, which is a college town. I never saw violence. I think the most dangerous thing I saw was drag racing, people drag racing their Mustangs or something. I never saw any violence. Drug dealing was people who give you weed. There's no dealing part. I'll cover a whole different world. I get to Detroit, a joint is an actual drug, it's a real serious problem. Where I'm from, if you steal cars, it's called joyriding. In Detroit, it's Grand Theft Auto. They find a joint in the car where I'm from, in college town, University of Michigan's there. They charge you with nothing, or they give you a ticket. In Detroit, they actually charge every kid in the car with one joint, and they call it possession with everybody in there. If there's a sandwich bag in there, it could be distribution and possession. So these kids are getting felonies for 8 joint in the car. If you're riding in a car and it happens to be stolen, you're now a felon. You're part of this, complicit with this stealing of cars. And so when you think about safety and protection, it really has nothing to do with any of that. At the end of the day, protection for families, protection for people is based on love, not on violence, not on incarceration. It has nothing to do with laws or enforcing laws. It has to do with creating conditions where violence does not occur. Violence is the enemy of humanity. Nothing else, nothing more. So even if two people don't like each other for whatever that reason is, that's okay, as long as there's no violence. So if you focus on having no violence, you have an achievable objective. And when you remove the violence from the equation, what you have is a good quality of life for humans. And when people have good quality of life, prosperity is a naturally occurring outcome. So I found that out through real life application. So we have proof of concept and empirical results based on reality of income. Your outcome and your income are related in the free market, and I'm definitely in the free market. And nothing is free in my market, let me be clear. So I have to be very, very intelligent about how I do things. I use intelligence, I had to use ingenuity and initiative of myself because I have no help. I created it. There's no frame of reference. There's no other organization. People will say to me like, well, what about the other organizations like yours? I'm sorry, no one's willing to do what I do. Because what I do is I trade my life and my safety for the safety of strangers for nothing. The money is a byproduct. It is not a focal point. It is clearly just a byproduct. And there's lots of money out there. Unbelievable. It's literally unbelievable. All you got to do is stay alive and free, and create safety for others so they can stay alive and free, and then everyone prospers. So if you create conditions for violence to occur, that negligence that you've done, whether by action or inaction, creates conditions where people don't have a good quality of life and prosperity cannot happen. It just can't. So what we'll do is we'll normally blame the population. We'll say, you know what? We tried to help the people there. We tried to go and do this for those people, and look what they did. They just, they did something bad. They didn't do something bad. We, as society, did not create safety, and then we expected somehow humans to not be unsafe. That's an inappropriate situation. Or we try to say, if we incarcerate enough people, somehow we're going to get safety. Really? So we're going to put people in prison and that's going to create safety? Safety is everything that happens before crimes and violence happens. That's what safety is. Safety is something where nothing happens, nothing inappropriate. So what we do, what I do as an organization, is I teach people how to create the outcomes that they need in their life. If you have a disgruntled employee, the only thing worse than having a disgruntled employee is a dead employee on your property, or your employee killing you. So executives pay me to help them make good decisions, including negotiating the exit strategy for a violent employee, which I have done so for 20 years without any violence and being in the news. Google could have used me. Or was that YouTube? YouTube could have used my training. Arrogance is usually solved, corporate arrogance is usually solved once I dollarize the cost of an arrogant thought process. Violence, there is absolutely no prosperity in the violence plan. A violence plan begins and ends with losses, and the first thing you're going to lose is peace. So when you think I can use force and violence to solve this issue, no matter what it is, at the end there's going to be a loss. Loss of time, loss of money, loss of bloodshed, all of which creates negative outcomes. So what I did was create a bridge. We don't want to be unsafe. We don't want an unsafe society. We don't want an unsafe community, unsafe family. So what is it? What are we going to do to create safety? We're going to get guns and shoot everyone? I'm a firearms instructor. I used to jump out of airplanes and helicopters for this country. I'm very happy I never went to anyone's country and invaded it, because I like to treat people the way I want to be treated. I don't want to invade my country, so I would never want to go invade someone else's. But I did practice being death from above. And I did enjoy that at 20 years of age. But it was wrong, as well as all my philosophies surrounding firearms and violence training my entire life. It was all inappropriate. All of it. The whole concept of using force and violence, which I embraced fully, and I believe that, I used to believe when I first started that the person who's the most violent in the room is the winner, and the way to win all things is by being superior at violence. I call it being ultra violent. So I trained constantly to make sure that if there had to be violence in the room, I was the most violent capable person. So it could be 10 of them or 100 of them, wouldn't matter. I need the ability to destroy all of them. And this philosophy is counterproductive in many ways, but it is the one we embrace as a society when we scale it out. So what I did was had to reverse that, because I'm in real life. This is real. So in real life, you're accountable for your outcomes. So when I kill someone or injure someone, there is a negative outcome, because there is nothing profitable or positive about violence and negative violent outcome. So what I had to do was create a system. So it's one thing for us to say we shouldn't go hurt people. You shouldn't be mean, you shouldn't be bad to people. Once you're scared, or when someone hurts you, someone threatens you, someone pulls a weapon on you, that's when you say, well, obviously now I have to hurt them, I have to kill them. And that's just not true. There is never an imperative to kill. I even created a philosophy called the anti-kill philosophy. It is the belief there's always a way to save the human life. Always. And the opposite is the killosophy, which is the one that we're kind of operating on right now. We're doubling down on. In fact, now, although it used to be a punk move to shoot people for nothing back 20, 30 years ago, you're a punk. Now you're actually kind of cool. It's like, hey, you shot a kid unarmed. It's cool. It's not my kid, so it doesn't look like my kid. I'm good with that. Of course, if it does start looking like a kid, now all of a sudden we got to change some laws. The truth is, it's never okay to shoot anyone unarmed. And in fact, what you'll find is that 9 times out of 10, you have to shoot people that are armed. You can actually talk them down. That's why we have a thing called SWAT teams. And guess what their closure rate was without violence? 99.9%. SWAT teams almost never shot people. They would surround someone, they talk them down, it's over, no violence, even though they're armed. So it's really about a philosophy. And so what I did was I took the same philosophy we would use if we were accountable or trying to create peace and positive outcomes, and treated people the way that families should be treated. And then I created the positive outcomes. It turns out that when you create a positive environment, you create a financially productive environment. So I started off in the east side of Detroit where families were being home invaded every day, robbed, beaten, just like in the movies. I couldn't believe it. I'm from the suburbs, so I used to call the police like, oh my God, there's violence here. There is violence. People are shooting. They're out here. Someone's screaming. They started knowing my name. They were like, is this Dale? Dale? Yes, we know. We know this person's screaming. Thanks for calling. Every day, they knew my name. I would call. They wouldn't even say, just Dale. Yes, we're on it. They would never show up though, or they would show up an hour later after the shooting, or the meeting, or whatever this was. And then I realized, at some point, I was like, wow, you know what? I'm gonna have to do more than teach people. I'm gonna have to step forward and put myself at risk. So at first I thought I'd be a liaison and just like help the police, like help the people. I was like, clearly there's a misunderstanding. I'm from the suburbs, so I was like, these people, they just won't help each other. They won't help themselves. They're against the cops. That's the problem. The cops are coming to do their job and they won't help them. That's what I was told. So, I had to be re-educated. I used to tell people, I go, you need to go tell the police what happened here, make a report and everything. They were like, where are you from? Why do you talk like that? And where are you from? What's wrong with you? Where's this guy from? Doesn't matter where I'm from, we're all Americans. Now go to the police station and do their job. In fact, little lady, if you're a good mother, you will go down there and you will make the report if you're a good mother. This lady, at one time, was a 14-year-old girl being beaten in public, and I would not interfere. The reason I did not interfere is because I'm not a vigilante. I don't go do stuff. I call the police. The police do their job. That's it. I don't need to go beat people up and use my skills for that. Come on, that's not a movie. You just call the police. Do your job. Plus, the day before, a cop was threatening me. I had a situation where an old man had been carjacked. There's a man in the hallway with a gun, blah, blah, blah. It's crazy. The cop actually started yelling at me and said that someone knocked a drug dealer's door off their hinges. And I explained to him that maybe someone looked like me may have done that, but it was not, clearly not me. But I said, listen, drug dealers aren't safe around the families here. These are thug dealers, not people that sell something to adults. These are people that go around hurting people. And I said, this community is now for families. It's going to be safe for them. He said, well, if you do anything with a gun around here again, or you do anything at all, I'm going to come to your house and take your guns. I said, well, I don't want problems with the police. So the next day when a little girl was being assaulted, I did nothing because I was scared this police officer was going to harass me. So make long story short, the next day when this little girl was attacked, I didn't do anything. She was attacked by a group of women, 15 women. They sprayed Raid in her eyes, burned her face, burned her eyes. They were mad at this 14-year-old girl because a 30-year-old man wanted to have a relationship with her. And the 30-year-old man's girlfriend got upset with the child, so they're all going to attack the child. So we called the police for 45 minutes. When the police got there, they asked me where the girl was, the victim. I said, she's at the hospital. They said, okay, well, I'll tell her to go to the police station. I said, well, can't you just go to the hospital? The officer said, no, our radios don't go to the hospitals. I was like, wait a minute. You're the police, you have a radio, you can't like push the button and like talk to people at the, they were like, no, our radios don't do that. I was like, so if someone robs a bank, they just go to the hospital, hide there, and you can't find them, because your radio doesn't go there. I didn't say that. I was like, okay, well, clearly I just don't know the law, so I'm just going to take the, I was a private investigator when I got in the military. I was like, that's really surprising. Laws are different here in Michigan, that the police can't find people at hospitals. Okay, so the next day I'm talking to the mother. The mother's upset, her daughter's been in the hospital, bandaged like a mummy. And the lady says, there's nothing I can do. I said, yes, there is. As a good mother, you can take your daughter to the police station, we can turn them in, and I have their names so that I'm security for the building, and we can get those girls and we can get them prosecuted. She said, you're not from here, are you? I said, it doesn't matter where I'm from. What matters is you be a good mother. Let's go. She was like, whatever. So finally I get her to go there. We go to the police station, I'm all proud. I'm like, oh, this is great. We're going to show the citizens that there is civility. All we have to do is follow the rules. So I walk in with the mother to the police station, and I'm all excited, like, oh man, this is great, because people saw this attack. So kids saw this. So imagine being a kid, seeing a kid attacked by a mob of adults and see that nothing happens. This is how you learn that there's no real rules in society. So I think there is rules in society, so I'm here to prove there are rules. And the police will help you if you just do your part, citizen. So we walk in, I'm all excited. Before I can get to the thing, you know, it's an African-American female sergeant. Now we're in a really good place because, as you know, if it's an African-American person and another African-American person, they automatically get along because they have the same skin color. This is great. So we're perfect. This is great. So, you know, clearly someone with different skin color, this would not work out. So we're lucky. So we walk in, and I'm like, they're about the same age too, the mother and the sergeant. And I was like, oh, what's luck? This person can help you. She looks like you. So we walk in. She's like, I said, ma'am, I said, hello, I'm security for the building. There's some pickups that are some of the residents in the building. She said, who are you? I said, I'm the security. What, you related to the victim? I said, no, ma'am. She goes, get away from my desk. I was like, okay, she will be able to help you. Go right up to the desk. I said, back up. I was like, okay. So I backed up. She goes, what? And the lady was like, my daughter was, she was attacked, and what? Speak up! My daughter was attacked. Where were you? I was at work. We should have been with your daughter. I have to go to work. So now I'm like, wait a minute. Is she yelling at this lady? The little girl has one eye hanging out of a bandage. She starts crying. The sergeant looked at her and goes, what are you crying for? And she said, she couldn't even speak. She was so upset. Now the mother's looking at me, and I am upset. I'm like, wow, I just brought a mother and daughter into a police station to get humiliated. So she says, stop crying and go sit down. Now the little girl's bawling. And that's when I realized, wow, I just let someone's family get terrorized, get injured, then I took them to a place to get humiliated. And they already told me the police wouldn't help them. And that was the last time I let the government or anyone else interfere with helping people. From that day forward, I never let anything stop me. And amazingly, all the thug animals, the violent people, they're not unarmed, by the way. I want to be clear about that. I know you've been seeing a lot of videos of unarmed people meeting a demise. The violent ones aren't meeting the demise, and they have guns. Apparently, they can't be video recorded or something. I had the fortunate experience of dealing with them, and I'm still here, so things went well. And what I can tell you for sure is that violent people are absolutely violent, and you will have to have skills to manage them. Your training to manage any type of real-life performance-related issue, whether it's basketball, football, or violent humans, is constant. You must train forever. We have a philosophy called ever train. We train forever. People ask how long our academy is. It's forever. Here, you're either learning or you're leaving. You're either able to perform or you're not. There's no hanging out. You don't get more money when you get older. You get better or you get out. And it's about performance. Because when someone says to you, I have a problem, what they want is a performance outcome. The outcome and your income in a real business relationship is actually related. Your outcome and your income. You don't get paid if you don't have the outcome. And so there's no entitlements in the real free market. Unfortunately, most people have nepotism and cronyism to protect them from that. I don't have that. What I have is outcome, and I'm totally accountable and responsible. So if we shoot an unarmed person, there is no qualified immunity. There's qualified absolute prosecution. So there can't be any of that. We stopped carrying guns in 2017. The reason why we stopped carrying guns in 2017 is because we don't need to. I actually stopped the training and pushing of the firearms concepts in about 2010. And I believed in giving people choices. I don't believe in that now. It's just not necessary. It really is. I'm a firearms instructor. I love guns. I have lots of guns. Guns are not required for safety. It's a fantasy. It's like muscles. You ever seen a bodybuilder fight? It's not good. You ever seen a powerlifter? Magnuson or Magnuson can flip cars, but he will never get in the ring. Probably not even with Chuck Norris right now. And Chuck Norris won't get in the ring with a real boxer. So what we're talking about is fantasy versus reality. So the Secret Service, they have the best guns in the world, yet they have never used those guns. Not because they're punks, because they don't need to use the guns, because using the guns as Secret Service under any of the stories you've ever heard of would have made the problems worse. No matter what Secret Service problem they came up against, the gun would have added more problems. So what did they do? Something else. You know, they actually disarmed a female who's trying to kill President Ford. They took the gun from her. Sheriff disarmed the guy who was part of the JFK thing, whether he did it or not. The sheriff did disarm him, did not shoot him. And remember this, guns are counterproductive for anything that's real anyway in terms of force-on-force conflict, which is why jails and prisons don't have guns in there. Because if you shoot a criminal, the criminal can still go through and still take your gun and still kill you. And so being gun dependent is counterproductive. So what I do is I teach the science of survival. And that's only because I've lived it, that I can teach it. I'm not teaching from theory or data or status. I've had thousands of staff members come through my program, through my organization, and they're all alive. 6 of us have been shot, 1 female, 5 men. What we do is help people. We can't help people if we can't help ourselves. So if we don't know how to defend ourselves, we can't defend others. When Hurricane Katrina happened, I was told by FEMA that we cannot go down there and help people. I told you in 1994 that I never let anything stop us. So immediately I got my team members together and we went down to Hurricane Katrina and we helped people. When I got there, because my staff is multicultural, multi-ethnic, and we have successful free market outcomes, we're well-funded. So when they see well-funded people, they automatically believe we're some kind of government agency. I told them we're from Detroit, we're from the Threat Management Center, and they saluted us and let us right into New Orleans when they said you couldn't get in there that first weekend. So remember they kept saying that? The guy from Fox News, Shepard, that reporter, that guy actually said you could get in, and we believed him, and it's true. You could just drive right in there while people were supposedly dying of drowning and everything. They were not, they were stopping people from coming in there. They would say it was for looting, but the truth is you can drive right in there right when the hurricane was happening. What I found out from that experience were several things. The locals formed militias. Those militias went out and killed people. The local law enforcement formed their own family militias and cloaked them as law enforcement, and they went out and killed people. They also, all law enforcement agencies turned on each other. The federal government did not plan for this, so they had no communication to tell anyone to do anything. And everybody thought that my staff and I were there with John Travolta because he came down in a helicopter as soon as we got there. Unbelievable. We were not with him. We just happened to be there at the same time, pull up in a Hummer, helicopter comes down, all the sheriffs thought we were with them. They were intimidated like we're from Hollywood or something. And they were like, oh my God, John Travolta's got the staff. We were just there at the same time. We ended up helping the SEAL team. Yeah, I know. What? What's the SEAL team doing in New Orleans? Apparently they had something to do there. I don't know what that was. We ended up actually deploying into the neighborhoods with the Navy in boats. The water was about up to here, right above the height of cars. And so I tell you that because I understand that what's happening in Puerto Rico couldn't be much further because you're dealing with human behavior. So when you have human behavior and things are already rough, when you add water and a lack of electricity, nothing good is going to be happening for sure. In Detroit, my staff members that lived in Detroit could not take advantage of the time when the lights went out. You remember that? When the lights went out in Michigan area, it wasn't terrorism, it was a guy that left the transformer on in Canada or something. We blamed the Canadians. Yeah, we blamed the Canadians, so they did something with our power grid. Yeah, some Canadian did something and now we have no power in America. So we fixed the Canadian problem. We're good now. But yeah, during that time period, we had 5 days with no power. And they said that the people in Detroit never called the police. It was the most peaceful time. People in Detroit have phones that require charge. So they can't call the police. And all the police went to the businesses to protect them. Nobody went to the families. So all my Detroit residents had to go to their homes to protect their homes. All my suburban employees were able to go to corporations and make $50 an hour to sit around watching TV to protect the buildings that had no alarm systems. So I tell you that because without understanding what happens under these extreme conditions, we can't protect people, we can't help them. The objective of my organization is to make so you're always prepared. We're going to have schools in different communities, just like the Red Cross exists, but imagine it's a place that doesn't have any CIA operatives in it, and it goes around and helps people all the time with education, and we're already there. So if the power goes out, we're already prepared for that. We have people that are trained to physically stop violence by understanding psychology, law, and skill in that order. A lot of our success comes from an understanding of human behavior, not because we can beat people up and shoot them, but because we have the ability to understand and how to communicate with people to create a non-adversarial interaction for a non-violent outcome. The thing that gives us the confidence is competence. Competence based on skills. Without skills, you cannot be calm. You cannot confidently approach and process information and create nonviolence because you're too scared. And you're scared for a reason. Because if somebody says they're going to kill you or can kill you, you start feeling fear. Once you feel fear, all niceness is gone. Panic begins. We replace panic and fear with training. Actual knowledge so you can go into a situation and remain calm because you know what to do if they pull a knife or gun on you. And then you can solve issues. You can be calm, you can create peace. So what we've created, what my system has created over these past 25 years is the bridge between feeling fear and being a victim of violence and the method of change through an educational system. So our objective is to bring that to every community. Viceland did a story on us. We're getting calls from New Zealand, from Australia, from across this country. People are flying into Detroit and training with us, learning our systems because they want to set up schools in their regions, in their different cities, states, and countries. So that's our objective here, is to share that, and hopefully we can help Puerto Rico and other places. If anybody has any questions, please let us know. We have some brochures for you as well.